Okay. So we're live, Richard. So hello, everybody. And we're live in the session now. Richard, over to you.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good evening, good morning, depending on where you are on this planet. Welcome. Thank you for spending time with us, and thank you for those who are in the CET time zone. This is the last session for today. It is with great pleasure to introduce our customer Agilent as they describe their journey using subscription billing and the SAP technology. So I'd like to basically pass this over to Sriram, Rajesh, and Pat, and they can introduce themselves and begin with the presentation.
Excellent.
Sriram?
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, TAC, and thank you, SAP, for having us this afternoon, morning, and night, I guess, in some cases. Really excited today to share our journey with SAP Subscription Billing. It's been almost about 18 months now, and we're very pleased with what we've gone through so far, and really excited to share our journey and talk about where we're going from here. By way of introduction, excuse me, my name is Sriram Gollapalli. I came to Agilent about 4 years ago. I was the co-founder of a small software as a service company that sold asset management solutions to research hospitals. We were acquired by Agilent Technologies about 4 years ago in 2016. And today I run our enterprise software as a service, anything as a service program, looking to make the right enterprise investments to accelerate all of our businesses' transition to subscription products. Rajesh, I'll let you introduce yourself, and Pat, and then we'll dive right in.
Hey guys, excited to be here. So I'm part of Agilent. I've been with Agilent for around 16 years now. Worked in all different areas, aspects, working the last couple of years closely on our SaaS program and how we can accelerate some of the capabilities internally in Agilent. So been working on many different aspects of this with the product marketing teams and with Sriram. So look forward to the session.
I'm Pat Natnaude, and I'm a solution architect and IT project manager at Agilent. My area of expertise is finance and now subscription billing. So in June of 2019, I was the project lead for the subscription billing implementation, and I'm currently now working on our second rollout that's due to go live in December.
That's right. So very pleased to have Rajesh and Pat join us. They come with a lot of experience. And we also work very closely with the implementation partner, excuse me, Accenture on this journey. And we'll be able to share more about how that went as well. So with that, I just have to share, we do have a couple components about just Agilent's size and revenue, so around safe harbor, as well as just a short disclaimer that these are the views of Pat, Rajesh, myself, and not an official position. So today, we're going to go over, we'll spend about 10 minutes giving a little bit more background on Agilent for those of you that aren't familiar with what we do. And then we're going to dive right in talking about our journey to subscription as a company within the industry, talk about where subscription billing fits in our environment, both from a strategic capability. And then Pat will walk us through exactly how subscription billing and entitlement management fit as an architectural perspective, how we did it, and then looking ahead and key lessons learned. So very excited to have, this is meant to be interactive. We have about half an hour, 20 minutes of presentation, but really looking for some exciting Q&A and questions. Okay, so Agilent Technologies. We are a global company. We serve scientists in pharmaceuticals, biopharmaceuticals, chemical, energy, environmental forensics, and diagnostic and clinical labs. While we're really large, we do have we try to have a small team culture, very collaborative, driven by strong core values. We are a global team, very committed to where we're going, and we really focus on accelerating the advancement of science and innovation that's guided by our customers. We're looking really to deliver outcomes for our labs and our customers to succeed in the businesses that they serve. We We are about a 5 billion plus revenue company, life sciences growth. We have a global scale, as I mentioned, with most of the world's over 250,000 labs using our solutions, with pharmaceutical and biotech as one of our larger markets. We've continued to have strong growth even in these tougher times. And we're super excited about what we can serve, and subscription products and introducing new subscription products have been especially compelling in the last 12 months, if not before, but as proven for a customer fit and what they're looking for. So this project and this timing came at really a good time for us and for our customers. Like I said, our focus is really focused on delivering the scientific, operational, economic values for our labs. So we understand that the solution is more than just the tools, and we're really looking to enable our customers to determine how to meet their needs more effectively. So a mix of our broad breadth of private offerings, everything from our instruments themselves through down to our software and informatics. And again, what we're learning, and through some innovative offerings that we've just launched, being able to deliver customers value at what they would perceive at like either a consumption model or a pay for what you use or a subscription model has proven to be very successful and able to meet our customers' needs in these, especially these interesting times. On the digital perspective, we really are, again, a key tenet of our digital strategy is around our subscription products, advancing our lab with integrated offerings, enabling faster and customer preferred interactions online, and enhancing the lab performance with digitally enabled capabilities. Every one of these areas are all key accelerators of our subscription journey. So these wouldn't be possible without having strong transactional systems behind them in order for us to really meet the customer where they want. And what we're seeing from all of our businesses as we started exploring this, and even when I joined Agilent, every single one of our divisions is looking to make investments and has already launched subscription products to meet our customer demand. And so you'll see that theme over and over again, because we're really realizing now that the industry is rapidly evolving, and we want to make sure that we can meet our customers where they want to be. And lastly here, we have a long legacy in bringing robust and reliable products to our customers, everything from the actual medicine and drug discovery development all the way around data management and needs there. So we're starting to see emerging trends happening, emerging product offerings that wouldn't have been otherwise possible had we not started and explored part of another kind of new business model, which is what subscription allows us to do. And with that in mind, we are well on our way on this journey. We're, I'd say, well ahead of many of our competitors in many areas, but we're also looking and pursuing a more enterprise as a service strategy. So we have one key part that as you all go through these kinds of journeys is getting C-suite alignment from the beginning. Groundswell alignment's important, the champions from your different product marketing teams and divisions, but working from the C-suite down, having that champion behind you, understanding that this is a core accelerate part of your business and an enabler for us to succeed is extremely important. So we continue to mature. We've made really strong advancements over the last 18 months, especially by putting something like subscription billing in our environment. And we're continuing to see that ourselves, competition, and our peers are making similar kinds of investments in order to make that. And this is really evidenced by our results. So what we're also noticing is as we continue to grow and evolve, the next $5 billion of our revenue are indeed going to be coming from a different kind of mix. So while traditionally we were known as an instrument hardware CapEx one-time purchase company, we're already seeing evidence that customers are realizing that there's more value, there's more to see, and there could be more offerings that we could provide to our customers that they're willing to consume, cross-sell, upsell, and understand what other parts of our ecosystem they can take advantage of. And that allows us to really make these right kinds of investments. So with that, Rajesh is going to tell us a little bit about how subscription billing fits as part of the entire life cycle of our customer journey.
Thanks, Sriram. So here we're trying to show the show the customer journey and the different kind of interactions for my subscription business process point of view. So if you look at all the different stages as we go through, which includes the sales effectiveness of selling and quoting and having the contract with the customer and providing a solution, including the comp portion. So this deals with the business process aspect of it, the business side and the commercialization side. So as you see here, these are the different capabilities we are focused on. So if in the beginning, you look here, it's quota management. So what we do is like for sales comp, right? How do we set quotas for subscription and how we manage them? The funnel management deals with the lead management and how do we manage the incoming subscription leads and opportunities and renewals. And then we go into quoting and contracts. So how do we quote for subscription products and how do we do the contracts for the subscription offerings that we have and the pricing and the orders and the quota. So once we have the pricing is an important component of subscription billing, which is different with tiered pricing and consumption-based pricing that is based on actual usage. And then we have the quota, credit, and comp, right? How do we comp sales for the orders or the subscription products and recognize revenue there, which is different from a one-time sale. And then finally, invoice and revenue recognition portions and the customer success, which deals with having a ongoing relationship with the customer and making sure he's able to leverage your products and get value out of them. So the portions highlighted here are the portions where we're using the SAP subscription billing product. So we're using the cloud product here. We use it as a part of our overall ecosystem, which is SAP ECC and CRM. And we do like rate plans and pricing in SAP subscription billing, which is used for quoting and order management back from SAP ECC. And then we have billing based on the subscription based plans that we have. And for revenue recognition, we're using the SAP RAR. So these are the portions where it helps as the SAP subscription billing product helps in our journey here and has helped us enable the capabilities to support these newer business models.
And what's important to note here, as Rajesh was describing, is that SAP subscription billing is an important component, but it's not everything. So as you're exploring your own journeys, you really have to take into account everything across the order lifecycle in order to be able to understand and really realize the benefit. It's a key part of the foundational components, but it is one key part, but there are many other parts to really realize the entire journey.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I want to talk about some of the capabilities that were implemented during our pilot release. So first, we created the foundation for Agilent's anything as a service business models. And while we did implement for a smaller newly acquired product line, the intention was for that solution to be scalable for future rollouts. So right now, that solution went live in May, and we have a second rollout this coming December, and then a third potential rollout in June. Both our sales quoting and order transactions are done in ECC, which is Agilent's source transaction application system. We enabled pricing using subscription billings rate plan pricing models. Subscriptions can also be expanded during the subscription term or renewed and upgraded when a subscription is due to expire. And we enabled renewal opportunities to be triggered in CRM prior to the subscription expiration date. This is key for us because the subscriptions range from 1 to 8 years in length, with the average being 5 years. So 6 months prior to the expiration, our salesperson will be triggered to initiate the renewal process with our customers. So currently we're in the process of rolling out our next product line. And we are adding usage-based billing. So the usage information is interfaced from that product software on a daily basis to subscription billing. And then each quarter, the usage information will then be sent to ECC as a new line on the subscription sales order to be billed. Okay, so if we go to the next screen. So now I'll talk a little bit about our landscape. So the green areas on the bottom were the SAP applications that were already in place at Agilent, and the blue areas represent the 2 new SAP cloud applications that were added. One is subscription billing, and the second was entitlement management. So I'll talk a little bit about the information that's held within subscription billing. So the accounts or the business partners are the customer accounts, which is actually a subset of the master data that's stored in ECC. It includes information such as the customer name and number, the address. We did not bring over all of our customer master records into subscription billing. So what we do is we actually replicate the master data as needed when a new order for a subscription product is generated in ECC. The subscription product is the product name and ID, and that ID actually matches our ECC material number. Rate plans basically say, how do we price the product? So for us, the rate plans are set up by market in subscription billing, which for Agilent aligns with our sales organization. There's various types of rate plans to allow for flexibility, and it includes one-time charges, block pricing, volume pricing. The rate plans are maintained by our pricing team and are currently updated twice a year. So the subscription itself holds the subscription ID number, the customer number, the product, and the subscription term. And for us, we also added custom fields so that we could link to the ECC sales order number, the line item number, and the CRM opportunity, if indeed that's applicable. The billing detail basically shows the amount that's being charged to the customer based on the subscription characteristics. And then it's important to note, at the time the subscription is created, an entitlement record is then generated in the entitlement management system. And that shows the product the customer is entitled to use, along with the number of users. And then all this information is interfaced back and forth from our existing ECC and CRM systems by the Cloud Platform Integration, or CPI. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So this basically depicts the end-to-end process flow. So basically, when we start with the quote is created with the subscription and the subscription information is then sent to SB for pricing simulation. Pricing is then returned via the API. Discounts and taxes are still calculated in our ECC environment. And it should be noted that the SB rate plans are interfaced only to ECC, which means all our quoting now is happening in ECC. So for this product line, there's no offline quoting tools being used. Now, a similar process is followed when the order is created referencing the quote. And at the time the order is saved, we actually put that order on billing block. This software is highly customizable, and can be a period of several weeks to a couple months before the implementation and training is done at the customer site. So we wait until that training is completed before we actually create the subscription in our environment. So when the training is completed and the customer accepts, our customer service rep actually removes the billing block from the order, and then that sends a provisioning request to subscription billing. If the customer then does not currently exist in the subscription billing environment, the master data is then replicated. Upon creation of the subscription, the ID number, the effective date, and a business event flag is sent to ECC, and we created custom fields on the sales order to hold that information. For us, the business event tells us if it's a new subscription, renewed, or expansion. And we use those flags as factors in calculating incentive compensation for our salespeople. Billing plan information is also passed to ECC when that billing block is removed. And then once the bill is closed in SB, an invoice for that billing cycle is triggered in ECC. So one other thing to note is that we actually are using the revenue recognition module So at the time the sales order is created and the invoice is generated, we're passing information to RevRec to assure the appropriate financial transactions are being posted. There's also a batch job in the CPI that will look at all our expiring subscriptions. And again, if the subscription's due to expire, because they can be rather long in term, and if it's due to expire in 6 months, then the renewal opportunity is created in CRM. And then at the same time, the subscription's created, the entitlement record is created in the EMS system. And all these orange dots basically represent that these feeds are automated. Okay, if you go to the next slide. Okay, so this slide basically represents our project timeline. And the overall project timeline was 9 months from the preparation phase to deployment, but there's a couple things I wanted to point out. So first off, what did we do during the preparation phase? So at this point, we worked with Accenture and SAP product team to understand the subscription billing capabilities to ensure it met Agilent's requirements and our strategic vision for the future. Then internally, we had to meet with senior executives and business leadership to gain alignment and approvals to move forward with the solution. We then initiated the RFP process and selected the vendor to gain the budgetary approvals. And then we performed the initial setup of the subscription billing and entitlement tenants in our environment. Now, this timeline also has 3 test cycles incorporated. We typically do 2 test cycles, one in our test environment and one in our quality validation environment. However, at the same time, we were also running upgrading our environments in parallel, which necessitated a 3rd cycle in the upgraded environment. And then also there was a 2-week shutdown for the December holidays. So the reason why I'm pointing this out is because while our implementation timeline was 9 months, it's certainly realistic to do a subscription billing implementation in a 7-month timeframe. So the other 2 things I wanted to point out was that during the blueprint phase, we did host workshops to define our 2B business process flows and identify the detailed business requirements. And during those workshops, we also demoed the out-of-box solution capabilities. And at that point, we identified any potential gaps. And one thing that was very helpful was during the design, build, and unit test phase, we hosted 3 conference room pilots for the business users. And the main goal there was to demonstrate the 2B solution across the different platforms and confirm the solution design, but it also gave the business users the opportunity to just see what we were doing, right? It was a new module and we wanted them to be comfortable. It was a way to communicate where we were and they could ask questions and then also give us feedback where they thought there could be any potential gaps. And again, we did have the 3 test cycles. And our last test cycle also kind of serves as a training platform for our extended business users. Okay, so now I'll turn it back over to Rajesh.
Thanks, Pat. So this view, we try to show the different elements of our subscription capabilities and the systems. So on the left-hand side, you see the applications involved in a subscription billing as we look at. So on the left, you see the product structure. So product structure, we have SAP ECC, we have CRM, and then we have the subscription billing product in the center, which is a cloud deployment. We see SAP entitlements and entitlement management system. So so the left-hand side, the application, and we try to list the capabilities here that are provided by these different systems. And as we add more products, we add to the capability. So as Pat talked about, our foundational pilot project, we laid out certain capabilities with the foundation. And as we add more and more products, we continue to build on those capabilities. So that's how we are looking at it. So one of the first things as you get started, you got to look at the structure. And we are using variant configurator to provide for the different options with the subscription products that the customer can choose and pick. So it's important to spend some time and decide on how you want to make these offerings available to your customers and what makes sense there. Then from a billing standpoint, because all of our backend ERP processes are based out of SAP ECC, including invoicing and collections and sending the invoices out and the different regulatory aspects of in different regions. So the billing that happens, the invoicing happens through SAP ECC, which interacts with the SAP Subscription Billing. We do have quotes and contracts out of service contracts out of CRM. So we plan to connect. As of now, we have not, but we plan to connect that into subscription billing at some time for the subscription service contracts that are there in CRM. But at the center of it, you see the different pricing models that are supported in here, and the ones that we deploy for based on how we want to price and monetize these different subscription products and the offerings from the product teams. So the center portion is where SSU subscription billing fits in and offers the different various ways you could charge your customers based on the product. And then the other key aspect to the billing or the subscription model is the entitlement management. And what that deals with is that the customer, the product interacts with the entitlement management to see what types of offerings the customer has bought and what he should be can use as based on the offering. So that's where the bottom portion, the entitlement management system, comes in. And we're using both software on-prem, software on cloud as a part of the initial rollout. So there are both aspects of that where there might be license management as well that deals with entitlement management. So that completes this portion. And to just go on the pricing models, which we spend quite a bit of time and would be a little bit something to watch out for as you take this journey, is how do you convert from, if you're using a one-time model now and you are trying to convert to a subscription model, what type of pricing makes sense for your customers based on what they're trying to achieve with your products. So you could have, for example, you could have one-time charging, you could have recurring charging, you could have block step pricing, volume pricing, tiered pricing. So all those different kind of pricing models you can use and the rate plans. And then for the subscription terms, you can have various terms for the subscription. You could have a yearly term. You could have like a multi-year term with the auto renewal. And then you could have expansions within the subscription. Let's say the contract is 2 years, and then there could be additions or removals during that contract based on your business model. So those are some other aspects to consider as you look at these different ways you want to make these products and offerings available to your customer. So we just try to show the journey here in terms of what you may take as you go on this, starting with a pilot deployment that we talked about, and then build on top of it as you add different products. So that's how we are looking at it. Okay, if you go to the next one. So Pat, you want to speak to the people process, and I'll go to the technology. Yeah.
Okay. So I cannot stress enough about the importance of having a strong change manager assigned to the project. This is a new module, right? People are going to be concerned with how their jobs are impacted and how their business processes are impacted. And this is the position that's the toughest to sell to senior management. So for us, while our team was very experienced integrating new businesses on existing Agilent platforms, there's an added level of change management that's involved when you're adding a new module. Right, so some of the things that need to be considered are like, how is this going to change my standard operating procedures or even customer acceptance policies? And it really needs to be somebody from the business who can truly understand everything a new module can encapsulate, right? had we had a change manager, they could have coordinated preparing job aids and training materials, utilizing a standard format across the track. So what we did was we basically had our track leads be responsible for change management in their specific areas. Some people embraced it and kind of understood the depth of what was involved, and other people were just a little bit lost, right? So there also needs to be a solid communication plan to your internal employees about the new processes. And the other thing that would have been important for us was really communicating to the customers that were impacted on what differences they may see in their customer-facing documents, right? So it really is an important position, and it's the first one that people will eliminate due to either cost concerns or just not understanding just how important it is. So if I had to do this project over again, I would really push strong to have a change manager from the business side. The second thing, data migration. We did not have a lot of subscriptions to migrate, right? We basically migrated about 70 subscriptions, right? But for data conversion, it's really important to practice it as you're going to perform it over cutover weekend, right? So, we tested it in UAT, but we didn't really have anything major happen over cutover weekend, but we did find some bugs because, right, everybody was working in the system at the same time migrating these contracts. Again, it was minor, but if it's a large volume of contracts, you may find issues. So you really do want to do your data conversion in your test environment as you're going to perform it over cutover weekend, right? For reporting, there's very limited information in subscription billing. So you will need to develop extra reporting to get some of the metrics on new subscriptions that the business would like to see. Okay, Rajesh.
Okay, thank you, Pan. So just going on the technology challenges, and these are some. So for billing plans, so we do have the billing runs on SAP Subscription Billing that interface to SAP ECC tied to our milestone billing plans that we create as we do the coding and the ordering process. So there's a complexity in transferring the bills to SAP and keep them in sync. So something to watch out for. The other is the rate plan management and the customer-facing documents. So from a rate plan management standpoint, the different pricing tiers you add and the different geographies, and just managing them it's cumbersome right now, and we're working with SAP to see how we can improve that process. And for the CFD side, it did as you code order the order confirmation invoicing and how that needs to be presented is different from a one-time sale. So as you look at that, we had to go through and iterate on that quite a bit. So something to look at, especially if you're a global company with many different versions or iterations of these CFDs that are used in different geographies. This is something to watch out for. And in support of some of the learnings in here, so we do have a close relationship with SAP product development. So that has helped us overcome some of those challenges and the move forward in the initial go live and the deployment phase, and also have a strong experienced implementation partner as you look at doing this. So I believe this is the last one, Shyam, I believe, right? Go. So if any questions, we can take questions at this time.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Sounds like a fun journey. I'm glad that it went well, so really exciting. I'd like to open this up if there's any questions. Check here. Okay, we do have a question. If a customer is from telecom industry, how does the system identify subscription billing for data and for calls on a high level, not in detail?
Okay, so I can speak to it. So So the telecom industry has used the subscription model for quite some time, as you know, because of the billing plans. If you have a mobile plan, they were offering pay per use, and charge based on minutes used. And if you go over a minute, right, you get charged additionally on that. So how does this identify SB data for calls? So this is more consumption data. So what happens typically is that the usage data is fed into the subscription billing module there. And then based on the usage and your tiered pricing or your pricing plan, it'll calculate, right, what the customer owes or what the customer should be charged. So this is a typical consumption model on the subscription journey, and it is a critical one that you need subscription billing for if you're trying to do this, because it just gets too complex, or you'll have to do something custom to do it outside. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Yeah, something in terms of telecommunication, especially when you get into the volume of call detail records. In a simple scenario where you're just calculating a rate, that might be okay, but in telecommunication, there's a lot of different regulations, especially if you are looking at a regulated type call here in the U.S. It may generate 12 different type of tax. So, in that respect, subscription billing is not the correct solution for those type of services, and that's something that convergent charging in the BRIM solution is designed for. But please contact me if you would like to have additional information. Are there any other questions?
Eric answered it, but Rajesh or Pat, can you, if you want to build on what Eric asked before on quotation and compensation management?
Yeah, I think
the question was, what tool are we using as well as compensation, as well as for compensation?
Yeah, so for quotations, we are using SAP ECC as a quotation. So we have used our standard ECC process there for quoting. And we do plan to, on the roadmap, improve that as we go along with the CPQ solution that we are looking at. And then the comp management, we use ICM. It's an IBM solution that we use for comp management. Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions, please? Don't be shy. Feel free to ask. There are no any question.
Richard, we do have a question here actually in the Zoom chat.
Okay.
Which is why did you choose SAP subscription billing and not BRIM?
Okay, I can answer that. So we did look at a lot of solutions as we're going through the journey and what was available, and we looked at both SAP subscription billing, BRIM, some of the external solutions as well, and then we looked at our use cases and where we were in our journey for subscriptions, and we did not want a heavy solution like BRIM. So we finally decided on SAP subscription billing because it was lightweight, it was cloud deployed, and that's where SAP is moving a lot of the capability on a roadmap where they plan to go, and the C4 solution. So we decided that where we were in the journey, it made a good fit. And as we build on our capabilities, SAP plans to add the capabilities to the solution. So it helps us kind of evolve without adding a heavy SAP BRIM solution on-prem.
Thank you, Rajesh. Yes, to make comment on that, the subscription billing application, it is we're releasing new feature function a lot more quickly. Definitely, we're investing heavily in this solution. So stay tuned. We do have a public site that can basically to give you an update of all the feature functions that's being released. But if you have any other questions out there, please feel free to contact me directly. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Are there any other questions we can answer today? Okay, don't be shy. Okay, well, with this, I want to thank Agilent. I want to thank Sriram, Rajesh, and Pat for joining us today. Appreciate you presenting, and congratulations on the success of your journey. I'm sure we'll be working closer together as you, go forward for the next 5 to 7 years and see how your business will transform. Hopefully, we'll be there to help you. So with that, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the
Appreciate it.
opportunity.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Just a reminder for anybody perhaps stateside that would like to check in on any sessions presented earlier on today. We've had some excellent sessions so far today. They are all available up in the platform, so please do take a look in our Pathable platform and perhaps check in on some sessions maybe you've missed from earlier. We got another exciting day lined up tomorrow, so look forward to seeing everyone online tomorrow. From our side, thank you to everybody for today, and for the colleagues here from Agilent for this excellent session now. We'll sign off there, and thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.